On April 5th, 1722, Easter Sunday, a Dutch expedition searching the South Pacific for Australia spotted an unfamiliar shape on the horizon. The ship's captain, Jacob Roggeveen, had expected to find the massive continent European maps predicted lay somewhere in this region. But as his vessel approached the land ahead, it became clear. This was no sprawling Australia. It was tiny, barely 14 miles long, a speck floating alone in the blue emptiness of the Pacific Ocean. Completely uncharted. Over 2,200 miles off the coast of Chile. And the nearest inhabited land, Pitcairn Island, was another 1,300 miles away. At first glance, Roggeveen thought the island looked barren, just another isolated scrap of volcanic rock. But then, his crew noticed something surprising rising from the island's interior. Smoke, human activity. As the ship drew closer, the mystery deepened. Canoes began paddling out to greet them. Roggeveen wrote in his log that the islanders were strongly built, friendly, and strikingly healthy, with bright white teeth and unusual hairstyles. But nothing prepared the Dutch explorers for what they saw next. Towering along cliffs and coastlines were giant stone figures. Silent, majestic, impossible to ignore. The moai, hundreds of them. Some standing, some fallen, all carved with meticulous detail. The captain wrote that these monuments filled us with wonder and admitted he couldn't understand how a civilization with seemingly limited resources could create such gigantic structures, let alone move them into place. Even today, researchers share that same astonishment. The statues aren't merely heads, as many people assume. Every moai has a full body. Torsos, arms, long tapered noses, and even hands resting across their bellies. Over centuries, soil and sediment buried much of their bodies, leaving only the heads visible to the world. And although their appearance varies, the average moai stands 14 to 15 feet tall, weighing 10 to 20 tons. Others stretch nearly 70 feet high, weighing over 150 tons, as tall as a modern 7-story building. Finding these massive stone figures on such a remote and resource-scarce island shocked Europeans. This place seemed like the last one on Earth where such monumental engineering should exist. But to understand the moai, one must look deeper into the origins of the Rapa Nui, the native people of Easter Island. According to tradition, the Rapa Nui trace their roots back to the Marquesas Islands, thousands of miles away. Stories tell of a wise man who had a prophetic dream, compelling a king to lead his people across the ocean to this remote island. Whether inspired by spiritual visions, exploration, or necessity, the Polynesian settlers arrived sometime around the 1st millennium AD and created one of the most remarkable societies in human history. Legend says the moai represent the ancestors, powerful chiefs, leaders, and figures of authority whose spiritual essence helped protect the people. But the question remains, how did they create them? How did they move them? And why did they invest so much effort into these towering figures? Some theories look inward, believing the Rapa Nui were simply brilliant engineers with deep social organization and generations of artisans who mastered stone carving. Archaeologists supporting this idea point to the tools found on the island, the quarries where unfinished moai remain, and historical evidence that suggests a complex culture capable of incredible engineering feats. But not everyone agrees. Enter the ancient astronaut theory, the idea that advanced beings from another world visited Earth in ancient times and taught early civilizations how to build megalithic structures from the pyramids of Egypt to the colossal statues of Easter Island. Supporters of this theory point to several details. Across the Marquesas Islands, where the Rapa Nui originated, there are stone figures depicting the sky god Tiki, carved with distinctly non-human, almost extraterrestrial features. And Easter Island itself has a similar figure. Make, the supreme deity in Rapa Nui religion. Make's image appears in petroglyphs all over the island, drawings carved into rock that show a figure with large, round eyes and a long, beak-like nose. To some, these carvings resemble alien beings. To others, they're symbolic representations of spiritual ideas. Still, the resemblance sparks debate. Could these designs be artistic interpretations of real encounters? Or simply stylized human imagination? Regardless of where these theories fall, all experts agree. The moai were central to Rapa Nui culture. Their sheer size and number reflect enormous community effort and deep spiritual significance. But building them was only half the mystery. The other half? Transportation. How do you move a 20-ton statue miles across rugged terrain using nothing but stone tools, human labor, and ingenuity? Many of the moai were carved at Rano Raraku, a volcanic quarry that still holds nearly 400 unfinished statues frozen in time. From there, the completed moai had to be moved to platforms, called ahu, located around the island's perimeter. That means traveling distances up to 12 miles, over hills, through valleys, and across uneven ground. Early theories suggested that the Rapa Nui used logs as rollers or sleds. But this creates another problem. Easter Island has very few trees today, and some historians believe the island never had enough to use for mass transport. That's where traditional stories become fascinating. According to Rapa Nui oral history, the moai walked, not literally, but spiritually. Chiefs who possessed powerful mana, sacred energy, were said to command the statues to move. The statues walked to their places, the elders say. For centuries, this idea was dismissed as myth. But then, in the 1980s, everything changed. A Czech engineer named Pavel became intrigued by the idea that the moai might have been transported vertically, standing upright, because that matched the oral tradition of walking. So he tested the theory. First in Europe, then on Easter Island itself. Using ropes tied around the statue's head and base, Pavel and his team rocked the moai gently back and forth, much like someone moves a refrigerator across a kitchen by tilting it from side to side. To everyone's surprise, it worked. The statue walked. And when researchers studied the island's ancient pathways, they discovered something remarkable. Moai roads, carefully leveled paths leading away from the quarry in multiple directions, like spokes on a wheel. These roads confirmed that the Rapa Nui engineered routes specifically for transporting the statues. But moving a moai on flat ground is different from moving one across steep inclines, uneven terrain, and long distances. Even with Pavel's method, the journey would have been incredibly challenging. The moai stand today as a testament to one of the most ingenious and mysterious cultures in human history. Whether powered by ancestral energy, brilliant engineering, or something beyond our understanding, these statues continue to captivate researchers and visitors alike. Easter Island remains one of the most remote inhabited places on the planet. Yet its legacy is larger than life. 1,000 silent giants, a civilization that thrived against the odds, and a mystery that refuses to fade. The story of the moai reminds us that even on the smallest, most isolated island, human creativity can leave an enduring mark. One carved in stone, shaped by dreams, and etched into the landscape for centuries to come. And if you enjoyed uncovering the secrets of Easter Island, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss another deep dive into the mysteries of our world.